Hi, Dr. Joseph Wood, author of the book Miracles in Minutes. And today um, I'm going to talk about who are you and what does it mean to be healthy and explaining health a little bit different. If you've watched any of my videos, you may be going, it seems like Dr. Wood, you're all over the place with different things, but I'm trying to take something very complex, the human experience, the human mind, and then our brain, and then relate it to health. And there's different stages of health. There's physical health, there's emotional health, and there's spiritual health. It's because we have three different brains. And the most early brain is the brain stem, which we call the croc brain, which is very reactionary, and it's just, basic life. And this is how we start out as babies. And, we roll over, we crawl, we squat, stand up, and we take our first step. That's all croc brain function. And then, terrible twos comes along, our emotions come out, and all of a sudden, the child acts out, they cry, they throw tantrums. We have emotions. That's the midbrain coming online, our limbic system. And then the longest part developing, our whole life developing, is the neocortex, or our thinking. Should I go to work, or what kind of job should I do? Should I, what kind of pants should I wear today? Should I get the jeans, or should I get the corduroys? All decision making. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit because our physical health can be affected by our emotions and some of the choices we make. So, if you're depressed, your posture's going to, drop. You can just see it in a person who's got that. So if you're doing posture exercises alone, just addressing the physicality, my clinical experience is it doesn't get the job done because all the work goes out the tubes when someone has a bad day. So the concept today I'm going to talk about is, who are you? And it's a question we kind of ask ourselves our whole life. So a lot of times, the who that we identify with is our body and our mind. So I'm going to bring some books up here. This is my favorite author, is Don Miguel Ruiz, and some people may be familiar with his book, The Four Agreements or The Voice of Knowledge. I'd recommend reading The Voice of Knowledge first, just because it can help you do a better job with the Four Agreements. So who are you? And I talk about thinking. So there's a voice in all of our heads that's always thinking. It's always talking. Voice in my head, that one. So someone's talking. That's this neurobiology. That's our physiology actually making up stories, but there's someone listening. The listener is the real you, or the spiritual you. So it's kind of really, it's a big concept. I know it's a lot to digest here. And then we have feelings as well. So that's part of our body. Well, I feel this. So when we identify with the feeling, the spiritual us becomes that. So if you feel anxious, you become anxious. And what happens is that train goes down the track, and, you can run into an anxiety attack and a panic attack. And then, then we have stories about people. Oh, so in your head, you're looking at some person, you go, look at the way they're dressed. Can you believe that? Who's doing that talking? Is that you, or is that the voice? It's actually the voice. It's making up stories, and this is called the ego. So Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Voice of Knowledge, talks about how we were here on this planet. It's a great story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, how it all started, and we ate of this tree, and all of a sudden, then next thing you know, we have this voice in our head, and we got scared. So there was doubt and fear and guilt and all that stuff came into the human existence from eating of this tree of knowledge, all this thinking, and this ego that thinks it knows everything. So where I'm going with this conversation is become aware of, there is an observer or witness. And I talk about becoming an observer, and it takes some practice to glean out the spiritual you that you can start to identify with. This is the person that has free will to choose, I'm not good at test. That's the voice. And you go, well, wait a minute. Here's the spiritual me, or the real you, and say, wait a minute, I can choose to believe that, or I can choose not to. When you glean out the spiritual you then have the power to, plus the thought or down the thought. But if you don't realize there's a spiritual you that's choosing yes or no, then you just identify with that and you believe that's you. And these false identities and these false beliefs, then create a belief system. And when we have a belief system, we tend to live it out. So if you believe you're not good at math, that's your belief, then it's a confirmation bias. And what will happen is, see, every time your subconscious mind will take over and start proving you to be right. It'll prove you to be right. So your belief will be confirmed to be true because that's true for you. It's just a belief. The problem with that, the thing is, it limits you, and that may not be really you. That's just your belief. But what will happen is every time you take a math test, you're going to do bad because that's your belief, and the belief has to be true since you identified with it. In other words, you said yes when that voice talked to you. You said yes when you had that feeling. So, it's the ability to observe thoughts, and observe your feelings and separate yourself from it, and then choose if that's something that you believe serves you well. Okay, let it serve you. If that belief is like, you're a great person. Okay, maybe I should identify with that. That might be healthy for me mentally to identify with, um, or I don't feel well right now, and that might be something you might need to observe and go, huh, maybe I am having a heart attack and I need to go to the hospital. So it takes some practice of finding these thoughts and beliefs that serve you well. But the whole conversation today is, who are you? And I want to glean out that there is a spiritual you, just like we have three brains. And every great religion or New Age philosophy always talks about the mind, okay, the thinking, the body, your feelings, and the spirit, which is, this hard to explain entity, this energy that says, I am alive. I am this conscious awareness. I'm aware. Most people just don't have awareness that you are listening to your feelings. You just identify with them. You just believe that's you. So this conversation is about having that. Hope this helped you. I know it's a little in depth, but if you read the book, The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz, you start to have a greater understanding for yourself, and you might be able to learn how to change your life by letting go of some beliefs and feelings that are keeping you stuck living in fear and anxiety and guilt. Have a great day.